what we're expecting when it comes to the policy decision this week, because market traders don't necessarily seem to think that there is any change coming this time, but that we may see something in July. What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't think that there will be any change in the monetary policy for the BOJ's part. I think it's still too early to call that that this inflation has been sustainable and stable. So that's my guess is that the June meeting there will be nothing.
Wakatabe-san, Governor Ueda is considered sort of the father of forward guidance. So whatever they say in their prepared remarks, whatever statement the BOJ puts out after the decision, the reporters at the press conference are going to ask him a lot of questions about what happens next. What do you think he'll signal about the July meeting?
Well, after the meeting, I think that there will be many questions, and I think that the most the important question is that has Japan reached the stage at which inflation would be more sustainable and stable? And the BOJ would say no yet, but I think that there are some sort of positive signs in terms of the economy and the inflation dynamics. So that that given those data coming in, many people would like to know what's the timing that the BOJ would take for the next meeting.
So what about raising the inflation outlook? Typically, there's a change in the economic outlook from the BOJ every 3 meetings. That would mean July. Can they raise the inflation outlook? Can they acknowledge how high above it is, and maybe make some progress made on getting sustainable 2% inflation?
Well, for the outlook, which will be due next July, I expect some sort of upward revisions in inflation, the development. But the question is that still, I think the governor and the other members of the Monetary Policy Committee have been saying that they haven't yet changed the prospect or the predictions for the inflation dynamics, so that for the next half or a year or so that we are going to see some sort of decrease in the price toward the end of the year. Then the inflation would pick up afterwards. So, and the governor said that he's not yet confident about the picking up part. So that that the inflation prospect is that maybe a little bit upward revised, but the overlook picture may not change at all. So that's we are still not sure that the BOJ would change the policy in July even.
We're also trying to gauge what kind of Central Bank governor he's going to be, right? How critical will communication be here? And we're talking about the Fed potentially going for a nuanced skip rather than a pause or a hike. Do you think the BOJ would be able to communicate something with that sort of subtlety?
Well, I think the communication for the BOJ at this juncture is a very tricky one. I think that first of all, I think the governor Ueda has to project himself as a continuity person, continuity with the previous governor Kuroda, so that he's going to maintain a sort of the monetary easing for the most part to achieve the inflation target in a sustainable, stable manner. Then, of course, the question about the YCC. The YCC is a tool, not a strategy itself. So the BOJ has to sort of distinguish between the strategy part and the tool part. So the BOJ's challenge is to communicate that even that the BOJ would tweak or change the YCC, that would not mean that that's going to be a change in the monetary policy or strategy itself. So that's a big challenge. And given that that there are many sort of interesting things are going on in the Japanese economy, the BOJ has to convince the public and the market that the BOJ's strategy is consistent with their sort of policy objectives, but the YCC may change in due course.